Welcome to Feng Shui Mastery, and in this session we're going to be looking at Feng Shui of hotels, but this time in Australia. Now, I was recently in the western part of Australia in Broome, and I was absolutely amazed. As soon as I was there, I discovered a petrol station like any other petrol station anywhere in the world. But lo and behold, at the entrance to this petrol station were two figures. In fact, there were two dragons. And as soon as I saw them, I thought, the Chinese have been here. And I was right. Turns out that Broome was a place where the Chinese came from the mainland China to look at the pearls, deep sea diving. And they made a fortune out of this particular trade, which is still apparent in this part of the world today. And then I came across this amazing hotel, and all the principles and qualities and features of this hotel in Broome are all very typical of the design of somebody who's taken those principles of Feng Shui into consideration. Now, it turns out that Lord MacAlpine actually built this hotel, who's a British House of Lords, I think he was. I think he recently died, probably about last year, but don't wish to talk about the British establishment. I would like to talk about the features of this hotel, which are quite amazing. And this has been taken overnight, as you can see, so it's not as clear as it is during the day. But we can see here these two features of the dragons, which are there to greet the customer going down the red carpet. All this is red and green. At the side is the element of wood, where all the bamboo and then the plants in the pots at the end. And this and the lights as well, so it has an amazing dynamic to it as you walk up towards the entrance. And this is the whole thing about Feng Shui, bringing it into your own life. You too can have this kind of experience in your own home, your own business, your own retail outlet. And there are many principles that I've been teaching about Feng Shui that were very evident in this hotel itself. So here we have these two features. I've split the screen into two. These were obvious introducers. They are welcoming you into the hotel. Discreetly, we can see the ashtray urns here, which almost feel as if they're part of the design. And this red and green with the bamboo and ferns all work towards presenting a feeling of invitation, and it was an experience being there. At the end of the entrance there was a pot with just water still, not a fountain, and lilies. And you can see how next to this pot here was an elephant. So whenever you've got an elephant or you want to use an elephant, it's basically there to ground the very essence of what it is you want to bring in to your life. So in this case with the hotel, the water is synonymous with wealth. So to ground that wealth and invite it and bring it in and allow it to stay in and around this retail establishment. And here you'll find these kind of figures throughout the hotel. In some cases guarding it, they are the protectors of the hotel. And the symmetry works all the way through from the entrance right through to the exit at the back, as well as on the grounds. And here we have the two pots, and this time we've got the wood element. So we've got the green, and then they are stabilized in the earth. And if we take into consideration the relationship of these five elements, earth, water, fire, metal, wood, then earth and wood, they have their own relationship. And then not far from here we've got water. So you can see how all these elements are very apparent and they've been crafted to actually have 100% influence on the patrons. Once again, throughout this whole hotel, we had the presence of water, whether water for fun, or water that's still, or water that's moving but in a controlled fashion. Remember, water is very, very important in any landscape scenery, whether it's at home or in a business, and you will see this time and time again in all businesses across the East, the Orient. You see water being used as an introducer of wealth, as an attractor to wealth. Besides the water element, you have the strong earth element, and this feature was in the vicinity of the spa area. And you will also see these features throughout the East, where, and even in England now and Australia, I saw plenty of evidence where people who have shops, they place this at the front. It's almost like an offering, a a gratitude symbol for wanting to bring in health, wealth, and good fortune. And in this instance, it wasn't so much for that, it was more about peace and spiritual wealth. And this was the pre-runner to the main entrance of a beautiful spa they also had in the grounds. And here we have these three huge pots, all leading alongside the path to the spa area. And so water is not just about the associations of wealth, but also that water is healing. And on this side there was just very still water, and here we have moving water. But as I say, the world is measured in space, not in form, and it's not just the form we see, but the spaces behind it, which allow us to see the wood element coming through. So you've got water, you've got wood, and you've got earth, all present in this particular facility of the spa area. And as you walk through, this water has an effect upon you, because already you're starting to wind down even before you get to the spa entrance. And this is what it's designed to do, is to create a feeling of calmness, serenity, and as you know, when you're very still yourself and calm yourself, this is actually a form of wealth, isn't it? So, space is what people crave. Sometimes they crave the space from restrictions, whether they're at work or at home, and yet it's not fed to people. They have to go out and seek it sometimes. But this particular spa offered all that kind of space, and the significance of the three as well. We say that one is the introduction of an idea, two is the duality in which we all live, yin, yang, up, down, double thoughts, and then three, like the three-legged stool, is the three of final manifestation. So it's when you have an idea, then you've got something to compare it with number two, and then three is when you finally solidify it and bring it into creation. So all kinds of cultures play with numbers, and they play with space and design, and it all has some form of messages or an aura of creativity. And once again, in this particular year, we had the year of the horse very present throughout the hotel. Now, whether these have been designed just for this year, I don't know, but horses were all over the grounds, all in different forms, and here we have some of them. The horses usually associated with the element of fire. So horses get up and they go, there's action, but of course you know that you can have a metal horse, you can have a fire horse, you can have a earth horse. It depends on what year you were born, but you can see all these different horses were very strategically placed in and around this particular hotel. Here we have yet another figure, and these figures, they're very symbolic, and they're tantamount to other cultures where maybe the Greeks, the Turks, they have the evil eye. Well, these figures are designed to to protect the residents inside, but at the same time also as a welcome feature. And also the symmetry, I mean, we can only see one here, but there'll be one on the other door as we saw before. There's the symmetry, and that symmetry, when you see that symmetry, it actually creates a, a balance within your own mind. And so there's a welcoming of wanting you to be balanced and calm as you enter these premises. Here we have it again. This is more towards the back end, the rear end of the hotel. And we can see, can you see how the path is not straight, it's winding round, and the whole hotel was designed in this fashion. All the paths were gently meandering so that the energy is not rushing through from A to B, but it's meandering and thereby slowing down the energy and creating in one's mind, because visually you are seeing this, but also as you walk around that path, it's creating almost like a labyrinthine movement within your own space inside yourself. So you're not walking in straight lines. Imagine how you walk down corridors in hospitals and corridors in institutions and corporations. They're just from A to B. They're functional, of course they are, but there is no slowing down of the energy. And here you slow down the energy and you see these two figures. And I've seen these figures so many times, and they look a little bit angry, but I think it is designed to actually keep out people who have any intention of any harm or maybe stealing things. So that's the idea of that. And often you find these figures in on but in a smaller form in graves in China, basically warding off and protecting their ancestors. So you see, this is just a little snapshot of an oasis, of a Feng Shui playground in a place which otherwise would be known as a desert up in Broome. And I was quite shocked to discover this, but it was a great oasis to be in. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could see all the meanings and the intentions behind the designer, and it actually felt a great pleasure to be there. I've stayed in many hotels, some of beautiful hotels, but they didn't have the same impact as this one did, because the five elements were all present and the features were taking command of how I would like to feel. Unbeknownst to most people, they wouldn't be aware of that, but I could see that it wasn't a form of control, it was an invitation to be in a space which was playful, calming, and alluring. And isn't that what you would like in your own business? Thank you for watching.